What if I told you? A powder that costs less than a cup of tea could help slow down hidden termites inside walls, furniture, wooden doors, and even old storage cabinets. Without expensive equipment, without tearing apart your house, and without calling a professional right away. No tools needed, no professional required. Just a simple method many homeowners have quietly talked about for years. At first, it sounds like one of those internet stories people scroll past in seconds, because termites feel like one of those problems that only professionals can handle. People imagine workers drilling holes into floors, chemical smells filling the air, huge repair bills, destroyed wooden frames, and entire walls needing replacement. But here's what makes this topic interesting. Many people only learn about simple preventative methods after the damage becomes serious, and by then, the repairs become expensive. Before we go further, a quick note. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not professional pest control, structural, or safety advice. Always do your own research before trying any home method. Results vary depending on termite species, infestation size, moisture levels, environment, and construction materials. Now imagine this. A homeowner notices tiny wood dust near a window frame. At first it's ignored. A few days later, it comes back again. Then one evening they tap the wooden frame, and it sounds hollow. That moment changes everything, because termites don't announce themselves loudly. They don't break walls in a visible way. They don't create sudden disasters. They work slowly, quietly, constantly, inside walls, under flooring, behind furniture, inside ceilings, inside wooden beams no one checks for years. And by the time visible damage appears, termites may already have been active for months, sometimes even years. That's the real reason termite problems become expensive, not because they are fast, but because they are hidden. In many cases, homeowners don't realize the scale of the problem until structural damage has already started. Doors stop closing properly, floors feel soft, paint starts bubbling, corners begin to weaken, and suddenly a small issue turns into a major repair project. Some professional termite treatments can cost hundreds or even thousands depending on severity and home size. And those treatments often include drilling into walls, injecting chemicals into wood structures, digging around foundations, multiple follow-up visits, long-term monitoring systems. For many families, that's not something they can afford immediately. That's exactly why low-cost preventative methods continue circulating online. Because people naturally ask, is there anything simple I can try before things get worse? And this is where a very commonly discussed household material enters the conversation. Boric acid powder or borax-based powder. Now, let's be clear from the beginning. This is not a miracle solution. It is not instant. It is not a guaranteed full extermination method for every situation. But it has been widely discussed for decades in different contexts of pest prevention and wood protection. Boron-based compounds have been studied in many applications involving wood preservation and pest management. And over time, people began using them in small-scale home prevention discussions. Why? Because certain insects, including termites and ants, can be affected by borax compounds under specific conditions. Termites are social insects. They don't live alone. They move in groups, they interact constantly, they feed, groom, and travel together inside tight tunnels. This behavior is important, because when insects live in connected colonies, substances they contact can sometimes spread indirectly through interaction. Some reports and discussions suggest that borate particles may interfere with digestive processes in certain insects after ingestion or contact. But here's the important reality check. This effect is not immediate, it is not visible overnight, and it does not guarantee complete elimination. That's where many online videos become misleading. They show dramatic results too quickly. But real-world pest behavior is slow and complex. Still, many homeowners claim they've noticed reduced termite activity over time when borate powders are used carefully in early stage or localized problem areas. Now, let's zoom out for a moment. Because termites are not a modern problem. They have existed for millions of years, and humans have been fighting wood damage for centuries. Old wooden houses, ships made of timber, barns and storage buildings, traditional furniture passed down generations. Anywhere wood exists with moisture, insects eventually become a problem. So historically, people didn't always rely on chemical solutions. They relied on prevention, dry environments, better ventilation, protective coatings, regular inspection, reducing moisture exposure. And that brings us to one of the most important hidden truths about termites. They don't randomly choose houses, they follow conditions. Moisture, darkness, soft wood, hidden spaces, poor airflow. If those conditions exist, termites may eventually appear. That's why one of the most overlooked steps in termite prevention is not chemical at all. It is moisture control, leaks under sinks, damp corners, condensation behind furniture, poor ventilation in closed rooms, water-damaged wooden areas. These conditions quietly create the perfect environment for infestation. So if someone focuses only on killing termites, but ignores moisture, The problem may return again. That's a mistake many homeowners make. They treat the symptom, not the cause. Now imagine two homes. One home has leaking pipes, damp wooden corners, and poor airflow. The other home is dry, ventilated, and regularly inspected. Which one do you think termites will prefer? The answer is obvious, and that's why prevention often matters more than treatment. Now let's return to the idea of low-cost powders. Many DIY discussions online suggest a simple process people commonly follow in early-stage prevention attempts. First, inspection. Looking for signs such as tiny mud tubes along walls, hollow-sounding wood, small piles of fine dust, warped furniture, edges, peeling paint on wooden surfaces, soft spots in floors or cabinets. Sometimes these signs are obvious. Other times, they are almost invisible. That's why termites are often called silent destroyers. Second, moisture control. Fixing leaks, improving ventilation, reducing humidity, keeping storage areas dry. This step alone can significantly reduce risk in many cases. Third, cleaning affected areas gently. Removing dust and debris helps reveal activity more clearly and prevents confusion between normal dust and termite activity. Fourth, careful application of borate-based powder in small amounts in cracks or suspected entry points. Not everywhere, not heavily, but targeted and controlled. Some people use small applicators, brushes, or squeeze bottles for precision. The idea is simple. Create contact in areas where termites may travel. Fifth, monitoring. This is important because pest activity does not disappear instantly. People observe over days and weeks to see whether signs reduce or continue. Some combine this with sealing cracks, replacing damaged wood, or improving ventilation. But again, results vary heavily depending on the situation, and severe infestations often still require professional evaluation. Now, here's something many people don't think about. Termite damage is usually not sudden. It is cumulative. A tiny leak today, a small damp patch next month, a slightly weakened wood beam after a year, and suddenly structural damage appears. That's why prevention feels invisible at first, because nothing looks urgent. But behind the scenes, change is happening slowly. This is also why termite-related videos online get so much attention, because they reveal something most people don't notice in daily life: hidden destruction. And that creates curiosity and fear at the same time, but it also creates opportunity for awareness. Because the real solution is not panic. Remove or reduce those factors, and risk decreases. Simple, but powerful. Now let's address a common question. If cheap prevention methods exist, why do professional treatments still cost so much? Because professionals are not just dealing with surface-level issues. They deal with deep structural infestations, hidden colonies, foundation-level entry points, large-scale damage, long-term monitoring, and prevention systems. They use specialized equipment, chemicals, and training to handle severe cases safely and effectively. So it's not about cheap versus expensive. It's about early prevention versus advanced treatment. Different stages, different solutions. Now here's something important many homeowners realize too late. Small problems are cheapest when they are still small. A leak fixed early costs little. A damaged cabinet repaired early is manageable. A minor termite sign caught early is controllable, but ignored problems multiply. That's the pattern. Not just with termites, but with many household issues. Cars, plumbing, electrical systems, roofing, furniture. Everything follows the same rule. Early attention saves cost. Delayed attention increases damage. Now think about termites again. They thrive in silence. They survive by staying unnoticed. So the longer a problem stays invisible, the stronger it becomes. That's why inspection matters. Even simple habits like checking wooden corners every few weeks can sometimes prevent major repairs later, because early detection changes everything. And maybe that is the real message behind this entire topic. Not just about powder, not just about termites, but about awareness. Small signs matter, small actions matter, small prevention steps matter, because most big problems in life don't start big. They start small and ignored. Before we finish, one final reminder. This content is for educational purposes only. DIY methods may help in early prevention or minor cases, but they are not guaranteed solutions for all infestations. Severe termite damage should be evaluated by qualified professionals. And responsibility always matters, because information is only useful when applied carefully. If this helped you understand how termite activity works, or how simple prevention ideas are discussed online, share it with someone who might benefit from it. And stay tuned for more practical insights about hidden household problems, simple prevention ideas, and everyday issues most people only notice when it's already too late.